Hello friends, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are discussing about US top 3 valuable coins and top 50 wheat penny coins. This video is very informative for you, so please don't skip this video. If you have interested any coins video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Without wasting your time, so let's go on.
Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be getting into the top 50 most valuable pennies in United States history. And as a surprise, 1909S, which is the coin in front of us, VDB, is going to be number 40. So as you can tell, there's going to be a ton of incredible things to look for, whether that's in your pocket change, in collections, or just to be aware of. The first that we're going to start with is the 1936 at number 50, double die obverse. And doubling is when they produce the dies that strike coins. Sometimes they would double them and have the impression be, come down twice. So in this case, you can really clearly tell where they doubled it. There's 2 clear serifs in the 9. The 3 is totally distorted. The 6 is way thicker, and you can tell that there's like a 1 to the northeast and the southwest. And these start at about $100 and range up to about 8,000 in nicer condition. And I'm going to try to go pretty quickly. Number 49 are different key date and semi-key wheat cents. And so wheat cents were made from 1909 to 1958 with this wheat year reverse. And the first year that they were made, 1909, they had the S mint, which is the mint mark is below the date, and if it's not there, it means it was minted in Philadelphia. But you want to be looking for 09S, 14D, and 31S are the key dates, and then the semi-keys are the other ones that I listed, and those are just going to have a good bit of value, but they kind of range from 5 and then in really nice condition, hundreds of thousands. But the next one after that is, you can tell again very clear doubling in this one, a double die obverse where the Liberty is super doubled. You can see super clear split serifs all through it. This is a proof coin struck at the San Francisco Mint, not for circulation but for collectors, and they still messed up and made an error. So these have some pretty significant values. Number 47 is a 1917 double die obverse, and you can see the clear sort of shelving in the trust and In God We Trust, and it turns at 1917. Without it, might just be worth 50 cents or $1 into like a $350 to $6,000 coin. Number 46, we have in 1972. There were lots of different double die obverses in 1972, and some of them are just worth $5 to $50. But this specific version is quite expensive, and you can see the clear shelving in the inside of the D and the O, and basically all of the lettering in God We Trust. And 1979, there were some die breaks that were made, but this can actually be found, and this is number 45, on any type of coin. Sometimes, again, these are just worth like $20, $50, but for a really big die break like this one, it sold for over $1,000 in 2021. And when the dies that strike the coins get worn down, because they're striking thousands and thousands of coins, some of the metal can chip off, and when the metal chips off, then all the metal flows to where the die has broken down, and it disappears from the other side. Number 44 is the 1970S double die obverse. It's just a bit rarer, really strong north-south doubling in Liberty, and then all of that, again, it looks like you're seeing double in God We Trust. This one sort of has a floor that's a bit higher than some of the previous double dies, but the values are only going to climb. We'll talk about the key date Indian head cents. So these were made from 1859 to 1909, before the wheat penny, and they have a Native American on the front of the coin, but the best ones to look for are 1908S and 1909S. There's a S mint mark San Francisco right here. Those are the only 2 mint mark coins, but some of the semi-key coins, really anything before 1879 is a pretty good one. There's one specific date that we'll talk about, but those are in addition to 1908S and 1909S. Then number 42 is the no D mint mark strong reverse. There's also a weak reverse version, but basically 1922, they only made them at the Denver Mint, but there were some where they didn't have a very strong Denver mint mark, and so those are extremely valuable, starting out at around $750. And the strong reverse, there's a version where the reverse is really weak and muted, similar to the front of the coin. These don't come in like really nice condition, but they are quite a valuable coin and a key date Lincoln wheat penny. 1877 is the big date. I know I talked about pre-1879 or 79 and back, but 1877 is like the really good date for the Indian head cent series. And so in really worn conditions, you're still going to have at least $1,000. So it's a great key date to look for. And similarly, number 40 is our 1909 S VDB Lincoln cent. So that first year, everybody was hoarding the 1909 pennies, but the S mint had a very low mintage, and people kind of overlooked them. But in addition to that, the engraver, Victor David Brenner, put his initials pretty prominently on the reverse, and people got upset about it and told him to take them off, so they struck far fewer with the VDB than without the VDB, and that's why that one is a rare one. It's sort of a well-known coin in history, but then number 39 here is our 1955 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse. Probably the strongest doubling of any double die that I'm aware of that's commonly collected, and was made in 1955, super visible to the naked eye, and they're worth thousands of dollars. Number 38 is a Lincoln cent that was struck onto a New Hampshire quarter. This sold for $13,200, and you can see very clearly that this New Hampshire quarter, which also would have been struck in 2000, made its way through some penny dies and was struck very clean-looking coin and sold for, again, 5 figures. After that, our next coin is going to be the Close AM 1992 Lincoln cent. In 1992, most of the coins were supposed to have the wide AM, but some of the coins, which were made, I believe, for proof dies, had the A and the M much closer to touching, and those sort of start around $2,000 or $1,000 from some worse condition items and range up to about $10,000. So pretty great. And number 36 is its close cousin, the 1992D Close AM. So on the left, normal AM, but here's the closer touching A and M coin that's going to have a pretty similarly valuable amount of money that it's worth compared to the last one. Number 35 is a struck on a feeder finger coin. So feeder fingers help the blank planchets get fed properly so that they can be struck, but those are made of aluminum, and sometimes those break off and get struck themselves, and so they're super rare types of errors, and in this case it sold for over $4,000 when one of those aluminum feeder fingers broke off and was struck with a penny obverse and reverse. Number 34 is an overstruck coin that also sold for $4,600. I think something to pay attention to on this coin, it looks, it's been circulated, it was in circulation, but you can tell that there's almost this roof underneath, and then some of the lettering on closer examination has been struck twice and rotated a bit, and they can tell based off of the type of date that that's a 1960D, and yeah, sort of a good reminder that you can look on any coin. It's not a known variety, it was just a one-time happening, but it still sold for a lot of money, and it's pretty rare. 1983, there were some transitional planchet. So in 1982, they went midway through the year from a bronze planchet to a zinc planchet, and they had a few of the old bronze planchets that stuck around and made their way into the dies and got struck. So they're heavier than the 2.5 gram modern planchet, and this one sold for $4,000 in 2018. There's also other years to look for. I think some of those will be in this presentation. This coin was struck on a 40 grain magnetic washer, which is pretty crazy, but there are a fair amount of coins that have been struck on washers over the years, and this sold for $4,900. In 1974S, there's an aluminum coin from 1974 that's supposed to be worth millions of dollars, but it's illegal to own. This is probably the next best thing, where the Philippines, we struck coins for lots of other different countries, and here is an aluminum coin. We were striking aluminum planchet 1 centimo coins. And so this one was from 1974, and somehow one of those 1 centimo planchets got struck with the penny obverse die, sold for over $5,000. Here's another great double denomination coin. This is a 1999 Lincoln cent at number 30 that was struck on a much older 1980D Roosevelt dime. You can see Roosevelt's bust pretty clearly, but most of the denomination and coin is taken up by Lincoln's, the regular Lincoln Memorial design. This one is number 29. It's an 1888 overdate Indian head cent, and it's an 8/7. So at the end of 1887, there must have been an 1887 die that was going to be used to punch Indian head pennies, but they struck over just that one date punch with an 8 to make it 1888/7. It's very rare, and they sell for many thousands of dollars. So certainly the key Indian to look for, and the 1888 is not like a super rare date, so it's something that you can keep searching. Number 28 is this struck on a Philippines 5 centimo planchet. I just thought that this was super cool because it was a wavy edge penny and it's well off center, but it is some type of Lincoln Memorial cent for those Filipino coins. But there's some other later over strikes that we'll be looking at as well. Here's what I had alluded to earlier. This one's a really nice one. Number 27, 1989D Lincoln cent that's struck on a pre-1983 copper planchet. This sold for $7,500, and it's more expensive and rare because this copper planchet stuck around for a long time before being struck. So if we found an even more modern one, that would be awesome. 1971S. This is also a struck on aluminum planchet coin, but not the legendary 1974. This sold for $8,000, but a pretty long time ago, so probably has appreciated a fair amount today. And it looks like there's some circulation on this, but people must have been like, hey, this is a super underweight penny. I'm going to pull it out of circulation. Number 25, we've got the transitional strike. Again, 1982D. It has to do with the type of date and the planchet that it should have been. So it's supposed to be with this, I believe, small date version. It's supposed to be struck on the 2.5 gram planchet, but this one was the 3.1 gram planchet, and as a result, it's technically like a mule or a wrong planchet coin that sold for $8,400. Number 24, we have an obverse die break. Again, we talked about die breaks, but in this case, the die actually was struck into the reverse of the coin and was retained. It didn't fall away, and so it's a super unique error that's very challenging to find. This one sold for $9,000. Number 23 is a 1965 Lincoln cent that was struck on a silver dime planchet. Super fun fact, we actually struck coins in 65 and 66 out of 90% silver. It's just that we backdated them to 1964, so that's why it's reasonable that we have a cent coin from 1965 that's struck on a 90% silver dime planchet. It would have been so much more incredible if it was a 1967 struck on a silver dime planchet. This sold for $9,200, really nice looking coin. And then after that, number 22, we have a reverse brockage where there was, and it also has the brockage of a 1973 S cent, but this means that a 1973 S cent was stuck to one of the dies, one of the reverse dies, and so instead of getting struck with the die of a Lincoln Memorial, we have the obverse, but the reverse, like the imprint impression of a 1973 S. This sold for 5 figures in 2020. And number 21, we have the famed 1969 S Lincoln cent double die obverse, also super clear, 1955. 5 is the Wheat Penny King, 1969S is the Lincoln Memorial King, and this one sort of starts at a floor of $10,000, but this one's a great one, really famed coin, and from time to time somebody pulls one out of their pocket change and makes a lot of money. So really fun story and something to look for that's attainable. A lot of these ones now are basically not, especially something like this, a 1981 cent that was struck onto a 1981 Kennedy half dollar. I think that they must have been, at this point, sort of playing around at the mint, but $13,000 is nothing to laugh at. Number 19 is going to be a 1943 S Lincoln cent that's struck on a dime planchet, sold for $14,000 as well. There's some really famous 1943 strikes because that was the year that we were striking these with zinc and steel planchets so that we could conserve metal for the war effort, but we'll talk about that more coming up in a little bit. This one circulated a little bit, but then somebody must have said, hey, this is the wrong thing, and plucked it out of pocket change. Common story. This one, again, I don't think that this one made its way out of the mint. This was a struck on a Virginia quarter, super nice eye appeal from 2000, and there were a lot of errors made in the 1999, 2000, and 2001 period. 2002 on, we cracked down as a U.S. mint. Right here, we've got a mated pair error, which is when you have both of the error coins that are involved in an error. And as a reminder, in Panama, we strike coins for them, and they have the same currency as the U.S. dollar. It's just in the Balboa, but it's fixed and pegged at a 1-to-1 ratio. So in this case, both of these coins would have been struck kind of at the same time, and I guess I'm trying to think how it would have worked. So we would have this coin get, oh my gosh, I'm trying to think. Here's the brockage. So this coin would have been affixed to the dies and struck into this penny. And then this must have had a, maybe they flipped over. Yes, because this was fully struck. So we have the Panama 10th Balboa design in the background, and then must have gotten a strike from an obverse 1974S. Anyways, sold for over 20,000. This pair combined, both 5-figure coins, but you want to keep these together because it's incredible to have both. Number 16 is the 1856 Flying Eagle cent. This is the first small size U.S. cent, and there's proof and mint state versions, but it was a design after the large cent, which was produced up into 1857. We had the Flying Eagle cent from 1857 to 1858, but there were some very limited edition runs that were struck in 1856, and so super important small size penny. And as a note, we're only focused on the small size pennies today. 15, we've got a cent that's struck on a Sacagawea dollar. The prices are starting to get more expensive. This one sold for $35,000. This 1943 Lincoln cent, again, it's that year where there's a lot of crazy things going on at the mint. And this one was struck on a Cuba 1 centavo coin. That's another country that we struck coins for since I want to say like 1914, 1915. And yeah, $38,000. It's probably also helped by the fact that the undertype is really clear there, so we still see that Cuban star and everything. Really neat. Number 13 is going to be a 1933D Lincoln cent that's struck with a dime reverse die, so it's what's called a mule coin. This one was made from sold for $51,750. Really clear reverse strike. The obverse isn't quite as pretty, and we'll see some other mules later. But this one was an 1859 Indian head cent that was actually had the obverse struck on an 1857 half dime. We used to have silver half dimes instead of the nickel composition, which we switched to in 1866. This sold for over $70,000. Number 11 is one of those Indian head cents again, but this is struck on a quarter eagle $2.50 gold coin planchet. And that quarter eagle would have been 1/8 of an ounce of gold. And so you can see this is a little bit bigger than the host planchet, so it's slightly off center or appears, not to fill the full planchet. But that was our first $100,000 coin of today's presentation. Number 10 is a 1944. So 1943, we're striking them on zinc coated steel. And in 1944, we go back to the copper planchet, but there were a few of the leftover zinc coated steel planchets that remained at the mint, and this one got struck with 1944 dies, and so those have been, I believe, observed at the Denver and San Francisco mints as well. Number 9, though, we're going to go back to, and I actually handled one of these. There's 3 of these known. This is a 2001D Lincoln cent, and this is the most attractive of them. The other one sold for about $66,000 and $78,000, I want to say. This sold for $114,000, mint state 66 red, with the 2001D obverse look and the dime reverse, Roosevelt dime reverse. Number 8 is going to be a 1999. I don't think that there's multiple of these ones known. Super nice looking coin, and it's muled with the dime reverse again. So that seems to be a common theme. Happens because the dime is a pretty similar size to the penny. That's why it's plausible that some of these were made. Though there's a good chance that there's mint interference here as well. If they catch these, they're going to try to find all of them, melt them down, but they become super valuable. 1859, talk about some of the cool mule coins. This is number 7. It's a dual obverse mule, so both of these sides are struck with obverse dies, and I'd be curious to see what this would go for today. It could be pretty expensive. That brings us to number 6, which is our aluminum Judd. It's technically like a pattern coin, but leading up to 1943, they struck an aluminum 1942 cent proof strike, really gorgeous item, and this one was retained in private hands and sold for $200,000 as well. Our number 5 coin is going to be the classic 1943 struck on a bronze planchet. Some of the worst condition ones are going to be worth less than this. This one was $350,000. Really nice appearance. It's got a authentic look. And you can see that there's been a fair amount of like scratching and bag marks, but it's just a beautiful coin, a great piece of coin history. It should be that steel composition. And the number 4 is going to be this gorgeous 1944 San Francisco mint coin that was left over as well, but it's just beautiful. So unlike some of the other ones, this one is in gorgeous condition. That's why it gets to $400,000. We're approaching and certainly past the house range. Number 3, this is a 1943 S, so the S and D are a little bit rare. This one, though, again, nice condition. This one sold for $500,000, upwards of $500,000. Just so much value in this item. Number 2 is going to be a really interesting, and it's maybe a contrast with the number 1, but 1943D, this coin at one point traded hands for $1.7 million, but when it came up for auction in 2021, the bids didn't get that high, and it sold for $840,000. So that's a huge loss that somebody took on this coin, but maybe also represents that there have been people who are willing to pay much more for it in the past. It's been struck on a bronze planchet, and I believe that it's the only one known. known, whereas there's like 20 total struck on bronze planchet 1943 coins. The Denver Mint is the super rare one, and that brings us to our number one. I know I've been speeding through, but I want to keep your attention and not waste your time. This is the double die obverse coin. One of these recently sold in excess of $1 million, and because it's a recent sale result, that's why I catapulted it over the 1943D. There are, I believe, 2 of these known, potentially 3, but it's plausible that another one could come to market, and super clear, doubling, but just much rarer than any of the other ones. This was in the last year of production for the Wheat Penny series, and super strong north-south spread, very clear in the In God We Trust. Again, there were some other contenders like a 1959D Wheat Penny, but that hasn't been certified, so I probably should have put it in, but here's its honorable mention. But yeah, this is the big one. In a little bit worse condition, it sold for $300,000, but I also think it's super exciting because it's probably more findable than one of the bronze. That's a very obvious one. Here on the 1958, while it's obvious, there haven't been that many people searching for 1958 double die obverses, so it's a great reminder to check those 1958 coins. That can even come up in change. I mean, the odds are astronomically low of actually finding one, but it's super exciting, and I'm very glad to be able to present it to you today. So many great coins from 1 to 50, and I could probably make a top 500 pennies list or something like that. That would be an ambitious target, but would be crazy and maybe a fun journey that I can get. So whether it was number 50, number 1, or you get any of these coins on this list, each of them could be a centerpiece of a coin collection, and make sure to subscribe for some similar videos in the future from Treasure Town, trying to do my best to educate from a good numismatic perspective without too much hype, but also staying excited, about the great coins that are out there. Thanks
this
for watching.
This coin is USA 1 penny, so let's go we are. Discuss about this coin value, price and history details and deeply. Don't skip this video. This video is very informative on 1980. US penny is generally worth its face value of 1 cent. But some uncirculated coins and high grades or those with rare mint errors can be worth significantly more, with some examples in pristine condition fetching higher values from collectors, while those with double dies or other defects can also command premiums. 1980 Lincoln Memorial. The United States 1 cent coin, often called a penny, from the British coin of the same name, is a unit of currency equaling 1/100th of a United States dollar. The cent symbol is, it has been the lowest value physical unit of U.S. currency since the abolition of the half cent in 1857. The earliest 1 cent coins were large and made of copper. Their designs changed relatively often. There were 3 different types in 1793 alone: the flowing hair chain cent, the flowing hair wreath cent, and the Liberty Cap cent, the latter issued until 1796, after which came the draped bust type, 1796 to 1807, the so-called classic head cent, 1808 to 1814, and the coronet cent, also known as Liberty Head, 1816 to 1857. When a large copper coin became impractical, an alternative was sought. The Flying Eagle cent was a transitional smaller type, struck between 1856 and 1858 in copper nickel. This design was short-lived and was replaced by the Indian head type in 1859, initially also in copper nickel until 1864, then bronze. In 1909, the Lincoln cent was introduced to mark the centenary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This was the first time when an actual person, and not an abstract symbol such as liberty, was depicted on American coins. The obverse of the coin shows a portrait of Abraham Lincoln by Victor David Brenner. The original reverse showed the value surrounded by wheat stalks. It was superseded in 1959 when the Lincoln Memorial design was introduced to mark 150 years since Lincoln's birth. This second design was issued to 2008, in bronze until 1982, then in copper-plated zinc. 2009 was marked by the introduction of a new design for the denomination. Obverse. The obverse of the coin, surrounded by a plain rim, shows the bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, facing right. In tiny infused letters on the shoulder truncation, the designer's initials VDB for Victor David Brenner. Around above, the inscription "In God We Trust." To the left of the bust, Liberty. To the right of the bust and slightly lower, the date of issue, 1980. Below the date, the mint mark, if any. Coins struck by the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark. Mint marks this year can be D for the Denver Mint or S for the San Francisco Mint. Reverse. The reverse of the coin is surrounded by a plain rim. At center, the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. A tiny figure at the center of it represents the statue of Abraham Lincoln. In small letters to the right of the steps, the designer's initials FG for Frank Gasparo. Around above, the legend United States of America, the value and denomination. 1 cent are around below. Above the monument on 2 lines, the motto E pluribus unum. Translated from Latin, out of many one. U.S. 1 penny is generally worth 1 cent unless it's in pristine, uncirculated condition or an unrecorded error coin, which might fetch a few dollars to potentially hundreds for rare varieties like a double die. Look for the D mint mark, Denver, or no mint mark, Philadelphia. For common examples, while ACC or S, mint mark would indicate a rarer San Francisco or Carson City issue, though these are not typical for 1980. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Pros, very common, millions were produced. Cons, low value unless in perfect condition. Denver, D mint mark. Pros, still common, easily found. Cons, little to no premium for circulated coins. Pros, can be worth a few dollars to over $100 for gem examples. Cons, requires professional grading to confirm condition. Check the mint mark. Look on the date for a D, Denver, or no letter, Philadelphia. Examine condition, assess for wear. Uncirculated coins have original luster. Look for errors. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling on the date and lettering. Consult a price guide. Use resources like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Circulated condition, pennies from 1980 that have been in circulation, are very common and typically have little to no collector value beyond their 1 cent face value. Uncirculated condition, an uncirculated 1980 penny in mint state, MS, can be worth a few cents to a few dollars. For example, an MS-65 grade coin might be valued around $14, while an MS-66 could be $15, $25. High grades, pennies in exceptionally high grades, such as MS-67RD, red, are very difficult to find and can sell for $100 to $150 or more. An extreme example, an MS-68 grade coin, once sold for $8,000. Mint mark, look for a mint mark, a small D for Denver, or no mark for Philadelphia under the date. The mint mark was for proof coins and some circulating coins, which also exist. Condition. The better the coin's condition, lack of wear, scratches, or discoloration, the more it is potentially worth. Presence of errors. Carefully examine the coin for any signs of the errors mentioned above, especially the double die obverse. A 1980 U.S. penny is generally worth its face value of 1 cent, though uncirculated examples or those with specific mint marks, D or S, can fetch slightly more and rare. Perfectly preserved specimens, MS-67RD+, can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars, with a unique MS-68 Road, potentially being worth $8,000 according to some guides.
The vast majority, however, are common copper-plated zinc coins with little to no collectible premium. Composition. The 1980 penny is 95% copper and 5% zinc. Mintage. a huge mintage of over 7.4 billion coins from the Philadelphia Mint, making most common, designer. The obverse front was designed by Victor D. Brenner, and the reverse back by Frank Gasparo. Transition. 1982 was the final year for the traditional copper penny, with the U.S. Mint switching to copper-plated zinc in 1982. What to look for? Mint mark. Check for a D Denver or S San Francisco. Mint mark below the date. Though these are also common. Condition. The key factor is its condition, specifically the color road for red and lack of wear. Errors. Errors like the 1983 double die reverse are what significantly increase value, but the 1980 doesn't have a prominent error of that type. How to sell. Professional grading. For potentially high-value coins, submit them to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. Auction houses. High-grade examples are typically sold through specialized auction houses.
Most people glance at a $1 coin and never think twice. It's pocket change, right? But what if I told you that hidden among these ordinary coins are a few so rare, they've sold for hundreds of thousands, and even reached prices in the millions? These aren't just coins, they're time capsules, national treasures, and life-changing discoveries for those lucky enough to find them. In this video, we're diving into the top 3 most valuable and ultra-rare $1 coins in U.S. history. What you're about to see will change the way you look at coins forever. Let's get started. Number 1. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it could change your life overnight? What if I told you there's a golden $1 coin from the year 2000, stamped with a tiny P, and it's not just rare, it's worth up to $128,000 right now? Stay with me, because you might be holding a fortune and not even know it. Imagine finding a coin in your drawer, in your pocket change, or at a flea market, and realizing it's one of the most elusive modern coins in U.S. history. The 2000 Sacagawea dollar with the P mint mark isn't just another coin, it's a legendary strike with a backstory that shocked the entire numismatic world. This isn't fiction, it's real, and its story is more thrilling than most treasure hunts. When the United States Mint launched the Sacagawea dollar in the year 2000, they wanted to bring back interest in the $1 coin, and they did it in a spectacular way. Designed with a rich golden appearance and made of a special manganese brass alloy, this coin featured Sacagawea, the heroic Native American woman who guided Lewis and Clark on their historic expedition. Her image, alongside her infant son, became iconic, symbolizing exploration and courage in American history. But here's where the story takes an unbelievable turn. While millions of Sacagawea dollars were produced in Philadelphia, just a tiny fraction were struck with extreme die precision, flawless golden luster, and ultra-sharp detail that set them apart from the rest. These weren't ordinary coins. They were intended for special presentation sets or accidentally released into circulation under highly unusual circumstances. One example was even found blended with a Washington quarter, creating what's now called the Cheerios dollar, because it was included in a Cheerios cereal promotion by the U.S. Mint. So what makes this 2000-piece Sacagawea coin worth over $128,000 today? The answer lies in its ultra-rare strike characteristics. Look closely at the eagle's tail feathers on the reverse side. Some show enhanced detail not seen in later strikes. These early versions were prototypes, struck with incredible pressure, and only a few ever made it into public hands. Even experienced collectors were stunned when one of these special coins appeared at auction, and the bidding war that followed was unbelievable. In pristine condition, what collectors call MS-68 or higher, this $1 coin has sold for jaw-dropping prices between $10,200 all the way to $128,000 depending on rarity and grade. And that's just for the known examples. Some experts believe many more could be out there, sitting in jars, forgotten in wallets, or hidden in coin rolls, just waiting to be discovered. Collectors today are in a frenzy over this coin because of its limited early strikes, distinctive die traits, and intense demand across the globe. You see, Modern coins usually take decades to gain this kind of value, but this Sacagawea dollar defied the norm. Its skyrocketing price is driven by the fact that so few people ever knew what to look for. And now, everyone wants one, so here's what you need to watch for when you're hunting this beauty. First, look for the 2000 date with the P mint mark located just under the word "In God We Trust" on the obverse. Second, inspect the eagle's tail feathers. Coins with high relief feathering and sharp detail may be one of those ultra-rare Cheerios dollars. And finally, always check for a bright, flawless surface with no signs of wear. These mint-state examples bring in the highest values at auction. Where can you find this coin today? Start by searching through old coin rolls from the bank, yard sales, coin dealers, and even online marketplaces where misidentified coins sometimes pop up for a fraction of their real worth. Some collectors have even reported finding these rare Sacagawea dollars inside old change jars passed down from relatives. Don't overlook those places. It's where hidden treasure often lives. If you're just starting as a coin collector or even if you've been at it for years, this is one coin you must research deeply and hunt for consistently. Professional grading is key. Send any promising finds to PCGS or NGC to have them officially graded and authenticated. A high-grade 2000 piece Sacagawea dollar with special feather detailing could place you in the record books of numismatic history. This coin is not only valuable, it's also a symbol of cultural pride, craftsmanship, and the thrill of American coin collecting. Owning one is like owning a piece of history, and that's why collectors worldwide are racing to get their hands on it before it completely disappears from circulation. So keep your eyes open, check every $1 coin that passes through your hands, and never assume that a golden-colored dollar is just pocket change. It might just be a small fortune in disguise. The next person to find a high-grade 2000 piece Sacagawea could be you. Thanks a lot for watching and supporting this journey through the rarest coins in America. If you found this video helpful or exciting, don't forget to like it, share it, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from coin hunters like you. Subscribe for more deep dives into the most valuable coins out there. And keep your eyes sharp. The next rare find might already be in your pocket. Number 2. 1979 Susan B. Anthony. Imagine finding a $1 coin in your pocket change, and it's worth over $47,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But there's a 1979 Susan B. Anthony $1 coin with the Philadelphia P mint mark that's doing exactly that in today's coin market. This isn't just pocket change, it's a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn everything you need to know to spot one of these ultra-rare coins and possibly turn $1 into a small fortune. When the United States Mint introduced the Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979, it marked a historic moment in American coinage. It was the first U.S. coin to honor a real woman, the trailblazing suffragette, Susan B. Anthony. This new $1 coin was designed to be practical and compact, but it faced public criticism for being too similar in size and color to a quarter. Despite its short run, this coin has become a magnet for collectors due to a few rare variations, and one of them is the elusive 1979 P wide rim, also known as the near-date variety, which has taken the collecting world by storm. The most valuable 1979 piece Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't just about the year or the mint mark, it's all about the details. The wide rim, or near-date, variety features the date and the rim of the coin closer together than usual, giving it a bolder and more filled-in appearance. It might sound subtle, but for expert eyes and savvy collectors, this difference means everything. If you compare a regular 1979p to the wide rim, you'll notice that the numbers in the date are nearly touching the rim, while in the common version, there's a visible space. That one detail can turn your coin from common to incredibly valuable. Now here's where it gets exciting. This ultra-rare 1979p wide rim Susan B. Anthony dollar has sold in auctions for jaw-dropping prices. Depending on its condition, it can fetch anywhere from $6,400, all the way up to a staggering $47,000. That's right, just one tiny coin, no bigger than a quarter, can bring in more money than many people make in a year. High-grade specimens, especially those graded MS67 and above by PCGS or NGC, are in massive demand from elite collectors across the country. But rarity alone doesn't drive the price. Condition is everything in the world of numismatics. Coins that are uncirculated, have full luster, and show no contact marks are commanding the highest prices at auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers. The better the condition, the higher the reward. Even if your coin looks normal to the untrained eye, if it's a wide rim and pristine shape, you might be holding a fortune in your fingers without even knowing it. So where can you find one of these rare treasures? Start with your own change jar. Many people have Susan B. Anthony dollars tucked away in old drawers, forgotten coin rolls, or inherited from relatives. You can also search through coin lots at estate sales, flea markets, and online marketplaces like eBay. But be careful. Know what you're looking for, and always cross-check with authenticated grading services to avoid fakes or misidentified coins. The thrill of the hunt is real, and the payoff can be incredible. If you're a collector or just starting out, here's your golden advice. Invest in a good magnifying glass or digital microscope so you can examine coins closely. Get familiar with the difference between the narrow and wide rim by studying comparison photos. Store your coins properly to avoid damage, and always consider getting potential winners graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Joining online forums or local coin clubs can also help you learn from experienced collectors and stay updated on market trends. Demand for the 1979p wide rim dollar is soaring, and with so few known in high mint state condition, values continue to climb year after year. As more collectors learn about this rare variation, competition grows, and so do the prices. Don't wait until they're all scooped up by dealers or disappear into private collections forever. This is the moment to act, to check your change, dig through your old coins, and maybe, just maybe, strike gold with a single dollar coin. Thanks a ton for watching and being part of the coin hunting journey. If you found this video helpful or exciting, don't forget to smash that like button, drop a comment to share what you found, and subscribe for more rare coin content that could change your life. Your support keeps this channel growing and brings you more secrets from the world of US coins. Stay curious, keep hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. Number 3. What if you picked up a golden dollar coin today, and it turned out to be worth over $120,000? Sounds impossible, right? But right now, there's a rare 2010 $1 coin with a tiny D mint mark hiding in plain sight, and it's selling for life-changing money on the collector's market. This is not just a rumor, this is real, and you could be holding this treasure without even knowing it. The 2010 $1 coin with the D mint mark is one of the biggest modern mysteries in American coinage. Originally struck at the Denver Mint, this coin was never intended to carry such massive value, but due to minting anomalies, special varieties, and extremely limited pristine examples, it's now one of the most sought-after coins by collectors worldwide. And here's the kicker, most people walk right past it, thinking it's just another common dollar coin. Let's rewind the story. In 2010, the U.S. Mint continued production of the Native American $1 coins, featuring stunning golden tones and a tribute to Native heritage. That year's design honored the government-to-government treaties made with tribal nations, a powerful, historic moment captured in circulating currency. The obverse still displayed the iconic Sacagawea image, while the reverse featured a beautifully detailed scene of hands exchanging a sacred pipe, symbolizing peace and agreement between sovereign nations. But something incredible happened during this run in Denver. A small number of these coins were struck with exceptional pressure, brilliant luster, razor-sharp detail, and flawless surfaces. These weren't just better than average, they were near perfect. That made them incredibly valuable to graders and elite collectors, and the price skyrocketed once high-grade specimens began hitting auction floors. Even more surprising, some 2010 D coins were discovered with special die characteristics or enhanced edge inscriptions, setting them apart as ultra-rare among an already scarce group. So what makes this 2010 D dollar coin so unbelievably valuable? It's the combination of top-tier condition, low survival rate, and elite collector demand. Coins graded as MS-68 or higher are virtually impossible to find in circulation, yet a few lucky collectors have discovered these hidden gems inside coin rolls or mint sets, and they've gone on to sell for jaw-dropping prices, anywhere from $10,000 all the way up to $120,000 depending on condition and strike quality, right now. This coin is exploding in value because it checks all the boxes: modern appeal, historical significance, brilliant design, and ultra low availability in top condition. Coin experts are calling it one of the best modern investments in U.S. numismatics. And when even one coin in near-perfect shape sells for six figures, collectors pay attention. In today's hot coin market, these ultra-rare 2010 dollars are getting snatched up faster than ever. So what exactly should you be looking for? Start by flipping over your $1 coins and checking the edge for the date. 2010. And that tiny D mint mark, if it's missing, it's likely not your jackpot. But if the D is there, and the coin shows nowhere, a smooth edge inscription, brilliant gold shine, and crisp lettering, don't spend it. You might be holding a coin that could sell for more than a luxury car. Where can you find these coins today? Believe it or not, they still show up in bank rolls, especially in regions where dollar coins circulate more often, like vending machines, public transport, and casino areas. You can also find unsearched rolls from online sellers, coin shops, estate sales, or even inherit them from a family member who collected coins but never knew what they had. The hunt is very real, and this coin has already made ordinary people into serious profit makers. If you think you've found a potential winner, your next step is critical. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These companies will examine your coin under microscopes, assess its surface quality, strike sharpness, and detail preservation, and if it earns a high grade, you're officially in the high-value zone. Coins graded MS-67 and MS-68 are where the big money lies, and the competition to find one is fierce. Collectors love this coin because it combines modern minting beauty with classic treasure hunt excitement. It's golden, historic, tied to Native American legacy, and hidden in plain sight. Every time someone finds a high-grade 2010 dollar, the community takes notice, and the market value continues to grow with no sign of slowing down. So check your wallets, check your drawers, check your coin jars and safe boxes, because this is one of those rare chances to turn loose change into a serious payday. The 2010 $1 with the D mint mark is not just a coin, it's a gold-colored gateway to one of the most exciting discoveries in modern numismatics. Thanks a lot for watching this exciting journey into one of the most valuable modern US coins ever minted. If this video helped you, inspired you, or got your heart racing, don't forget to smash that like button, leave a comment below if you're hunting for this coin, and subscribe for more incredible coin finds that could change your life. Stay curious, keep looking, and never underestimate the coins in your own hands.